Okay, so shall we start?
Yes, please.
Okay, so thank you very much for coming, Ileana.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and thank you also for joining us today. So it's going to be a very relaxing conversation. It's not a lecture. First, I wanted to give a little introduction on Sophia Vari. Sophia was a Greek artist born in a village near Athens called Vari. That's why she has a surname in homage of her Greek origins.
I have to tell you something, please. Well, homage, yes, but she has a Greek name, quite difficult, very long. I mean, it was Kanellopoulos. So at the beginning, when she was doing drawings, she was putting Kanellopoulos. Then she married my father. She got married with my father, was Boubouli. It was always very long. So you don't have a lot of space on the paintings. So she said, why not? Varkiza was there. So she said, Vari. That's what it was, Vari and Vari.
That's a better story, actually.
That's for the fun. That's for the fun.
So at the age of 16, she started making paintings. Back then, they were figurative paintings.
Totally.
In 1974, she had a trip in Egypt, and she was completely mesmerized by the monumentality of the buildings. And so she thought that how important it is to create big pieces. And she introduced two fundamental materials back then from the 70s, which was marble and bronze. The language of Sophia is abstract, but the composition of the volumes, of the forms are soft and in harmony. For her, harmony was like the mantra, basically. So she started making sculptures and never stopped making painting because she's a painter and a sculptor. For her, color was very important, a very important element, which in her works on on canvas, which were they were called assemblage on canvas,
yes.
and
she did that because she wanted it third dimension.
The third dimension. And
she was always looking for third dimension because, in fact, she began the paintings because she never thought that she could be a sculptor. Because she went, wow, where can I do it? I don't have an atelier for that. So she began paintings. And at the moment, she allowed herself to do some sculptures because it's really what she wanted. And she always said that she was a painter doing sculptures. Or sculptures doing painting, no, more, a sculptor doing painting, and that's why she tried to find in the paintings the third dimension that she loved in sculpture, and that's why she did this assemblage on canvas.
Yeah, and I have one of them, and I'm so pleased, and I got it from Gusto. So, and I love it, and actually, it's very fascinating to see in a two-dimensional surface three-dimensionality because they come out into space. So yes, she was a painter and a sculptor, and a sculptor as a painter. You know,
exactly.
Space for her was very important.
In paintings, she didn't invent it because it always exists. But they put I don't know how to say l'ombre portée. I don't know how to say l'ombre portée.
French, so.
How do you say l'ombre portée in English?
The shadow.
The shadow, yes. Because with the shadow, she could have the third dimension.
Yeah.
So many of her paintings at a certain time, began with that, with l'ombre portée, with the shadow. So it gives you a third dimension. And then she used other materials on the canvas as paper, as wood. Then she brings really a third dimension on it. But at the beginning it was at the beginning and also at the end, because she was always moving she never stopped. She was beginning a thing and she was going back to the other one because she thought that everything, you see also with the juries, it's the same thing. In the juries you have the sculptures during jurors, and you have the painting jurors. The painting jurors are all the pliage. it's like her paintings. She needed both of it. Really, all her life, she needed both of it.
Then we will show you some pieces.
Yeah.
In fact, there is a nice quote from her. She says, "I seek to take geometry, volume, and form and humanize the world within space," which I think is a beautiful
Exactly.
quote. So jewelry was a strong influence from the sculptures. Can you tell us, yes, can you tell us how it started?
Well,
it's a nice story, I love it.
It started because she had husband not giving her some jewels. So she wanted to have some. And
Well, she didn't like the jewelry that they were giving to her, maybe.
well,
Sort of.
well, but they were not giving so much jewels, so that's what I
Okay.
say. And she was moving all the time, traveling all the time with Fernando, her second husband. So she couldn't bring canvas with her because Fernando did, because he had an atelier, but my mother never had an atelier where she was moving. She was always in the kitchen. Well, the kitchen, which was very small kitchen because she was never cooking. But anyway, so she was the cook. The kitchen was her atelier. So she didn't have space to put a big canvas. She didn't have space, or she was not saying enough time on that places to do big sculptures or to do sculptures. So she began in the planes.
Airplanes.
In airplanes, yes. She took a plastilene that you see here. At that time, she could travel with plastilene. Now they think that it's bombs. Now, so it's not possible anyway to travel with that. And she began in the planes to do that because they were traveling a lot and they were a lot in planes. And then also in the kitchen of the different places when they were staying. And she began like this at the beginning it was to do some sort of maquette, as Hallumo did for his sculptures. And in fact, no, she didn't always she needed to do in the real dimension that she thinks that the sculpture could be. And she said, maybe I will do some jewelry. So she did some jewelry. At the beginning, they were in gold because at that time, people were used to have gold. And she found goldsmiths in Paris, Place Vendôme. And he couldn't speak and he couldn't hear. And he was working with many important, as Cartier, as all this person that he was working with. No, this is the one I'm working with. At that time, they were working with Van Cleef and Cartier. He was working with them and for them. And well, she loved working with him. But I met him, he was her wife translating because she didn't know the gestures. And that's why at the beginning her jewelries were quite big. Well, she was very tall, so she could put very big jewelries, even heavy. And they were going all the time in restaurants to have dinner. And people asked near her, where did you find this jewelry? I want to buy it. I said, no, I do it for me. I'm not selling them. And she said, well, maybe I can sell them. And she began to work with Ileana Boubouli in Paris. And she was the first one who showed her.
What year was this when she started making jewelry for herself?
When it was?
When was it? In the early 90s?
Oh, it was a long time ago.
Or 1890?
More than 30 years ago. More than 30 years ago, yes. Yes, maybe 80s. Late 80s.
Late
yes.
80s. In fact, there is this book, which is 17 years old, that there are most of the first pieces that she made.
Yes, I suppose. We did a work to have all the pieces, the old pieces, but most of them were brooches and rings. And then she began earrings, and then she did some bracelets.
So for her, there is no distinguishment between jewelry and sculpture and painting. How does she classify them? I mean, she was telling that they are portable.
She classified them because, well, the thing is that at the beginning she was doing paintings and sculptures, and she was doing this jewelry. Oh, sorry, no. no. I'm going to put it, okay, sorry about that. She never thought selling them. She never thought selling them. She was doing a little bit like this, I don't know, 10 pieces like this that she was selling at Naïla Montbrison. But she was not taking care of them because she didn't have time, because she was so much yes, on the sculptures. It was the moment that she really wanted to do sculptures, and she was so much on that.
So she didn't felt them as if they were an extension of her work, or yes, it was an extension of her work.
At that time, it was an extension of her work,
okay.
And then it begins a very important part of her work.
Of her work.
But at the beginning, it was an extension. And then some galleries asked to work with her, and she said, "Well, okay, maybe." And and I must say that. Well, she was doing some jewelries, but she said, "Well, it's only a part because I don't have time really to take care of that." And at that time, I had a gallery, and I did a fair, which was the pad. And at the pad, I asked her, "Can you give me some jewelries to put on
display?"
On display. I said, "Well, okay." And she said, "Do you want to take care of it?" And I said, "Well, why not?"
As a gallerist, daughter gallerist.
As a gallerist, yes, as a gallerist, because I was not taking care of jewelry at all. It was painting and sculptures that I had my gallery in Paris, and I thought that I will do it like that also. And in fact, ça nous a bouffé.
Big and big.
Yes, big and big with her and with me, and I took care of her jewelries for many years. And then she wanted really to do jewelries. After that time, she said, "It's a lot of fun." She was a bit upset with all the technical problems, but it was my part.
So when did you start looking after, helping her with the support of the production? So talking to the goldsmiths.
Quite not a long time after that moment.
Okay. So you're very part of.
Yes, because I did all the production.
Yeah.
I was doing all the production.
So first of all, she was making the plasticine, the models.
Yeah.
The
she was doing always the plasticine. She was doing sometimes some drawings, but even for the sculptures, she was not doing a lot of drawings. She was doing the plasticine. After we do the plaster, and after the plaster. We were doing the maquette.
The maquette, the model, like the one that we have of the necklace.
But for the jewelries, we could do sometimes 4, 5, 6 maquettes, because it's not like sculptures. It's very difficult because
it's the wearability.
Yes, the wearability.
The weight.
The weight, yes.
The balance on the body.
Exactly. That's very difficult.
And I think one of the most.
Because for sculptures, for sculpture, you put a stick and you build around that stick. So the sculpture stays, even if you do it like that. If you put a stick, it stays, and you have a basis, something. But for the jewelry, no. If you want to put it, and it falls. If you don't do it like this, it falls. So you have really to do a lot of technical.
But in fact, the jewelry are perfect. When you wear a Sophia Vari piece,
I know. I worked on it. I can tell you.
They sit amazingly on the body, and plus they are light. So they're very light.
About light.
Because let me ask a question.
Yes.
So, because then because you're going to say this. So she was very known for the use of different materials in her jewelry, and of course also in her
gold
art.
And silver.
Gold, silver. Then she introduced ebony.
That's why she introduced ebony because she found out with this goldsmith that ebony was possible. First of all, it's Van Cleef. She had a bracelet of Van Cleef, which was in ebony and gold. And she said, "Wow!" It was a gift of a great friend of her, and she always loved it. And she said, "But it's fantastic because I'm not obliged to do small jewelries," because she wanted always to do big ones, and it's light, so I can continue my big jewelries because of ebony, which is not heavy."
And then Then she introduced pau amarelo, which is a Brazilian wood, later on. And then the last medium in wood that she presented in 2023 when I had the
And
first...
Cocobolo?
The Cocobolo, which
the
is
Cocobolo
the
that
darker...
the necklace that
Yes.
Laurence has on her, the Cocobolo one.
And then the amaranth wood, which is purple heart. It's a wood that at the beginning is it's green, and then with exposure of the light, it becomes purple, and then it stays purple. And that was the last wood that she did in 2023, and then unfortunately she passed away. But another interesting medium that I think it's good to say, still the last medium in 2023 was resin.
Yes.
Resin is, you want to say the story of the resin, how she was...
well, the resin, in fact,
how did she discover it?
Yes, well, at the beginning, well, she did some jewelry in marble, because, as you said, the sculptures and the jewelry, it was the same thing for her.
Yeah.
Okay, so she wanted marble. The problem of the marble is that it can break. So,
and heavy, and also can be heavy. You cannot do big things.
Exactly.
Too.
Exactly, it can be heavy. So the person who we were working with, the atelier, as you said, in Paris, I must say this atelier you have to know, because it's more than now 15 years that we are working together. And this atelier, when I began to work with them, they were 6. Then they grow, and they are the only atelier working for Jarre, because Jarre has had his atelier in Switzerland and in Paris with them. And they are working for Van Cleef and Cartier, but only very important pieces, not all that you see in the shops. And they really love, and they still love, Sophia Vari's work. So we were working, they were proposing woods, that's why she changed her wood from ebony and cocobolo and pau amarelo. They said, maybe you can change. And she was fascinated. When she was getting to this place, she said, I'm like a child, in front of, to play. How say?
Toys.
Toys, exactly, in front of toys, because they were giving her, and she was playing with them at the atelier, really. And we were doing the maquette. At the beginning, we were doing maquettes in sort of plastic, not very fun. And they had a new machine, and they had this resin. And she found it fabulous, but she said, it's like marble. It's exactly like marble.
Like the Tassos marble.
Like the Tassos marble,
the transparency.
Exactly.
And
so I want to put gold on it, and so it becomes something precious.
Yeah. So...
And she was really fascinated by this.
Yeah, she loves resin.
Yeah.
So...
Well, Nikit Saint-Phal worked with resin also. It's not something totally new in art.
So the titles.
The titles.
The titles of the portable sculptures. They are called. They are named after Greek islands, mythology.
First of all, mythology. Because she wanted really that's what, before even that I worked with her, she wanted something. She said, okay, I want something very Greek. My mother was really, really Greek, and she loved her country. And she put Greek names of mythology because she loved mythology. And she did also drawings about mythology. And so she begins like that. And at the moment, well, we had some names, but they were so complicated. You know the names of the jewelers. I never know the name. At the atelier, it's the same. They tell me, oh, it's that, it's Menos. I say, I don't remember because they're too difficult to remember because there are so many. And at the moment, she said, well, in the book, I offered her a lot of books of mythology to find different names, and said, well, the other ones, no, it's not possible. They are really too difficult. We can't say this now. So we are going to try something else. So she began with the islands. But only the islands that she liked it.
Yeah.
Not all the islands. So the Greek islands.
The islands were gone.
And then the traditional dances.
So the last word, the traditional dances.
Yes.
Did she ever miss Greece? Because she lived in Colombia, she lived in Mexico, she lived in the United States, Italy. She missed it, no?
Yes. What she loved Italy because it was the place where they were working
in
together.
Pietrasanta,
Pietrasanta.
which I was there yesterday.
Exactly. Well, they have doing all the sculptures, and she's there for all the rest of her life, let's say.
She's buried there.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
And
I see it in the cemetery.
but no, Greece was always her country. She was half Greek, half Hungarian.
Half?
Hungarian.
Okay.
Her mother was Hungarian. Her father, sorry, was Greek, but she looks like totally a Greek person.
She's a goddess.
Yeah. So no, she really wanted to stay the end of her life in Greece.
So let's talk about the final work.
Yeah.
Liens d'Amour, Links of Love. It's her final work,
Yeah.
and you were very, very involved with this piece next to her, and
She showed me
she
this
really wanted
piece.
to do this piece.
Yes, she wanted to do this piece, and well, she was very sick, and I was going often to see her, and she showed me this piece, and then I'm doing a necklace. I know that you don't want it because you know it's very, very expensive to do, and the necklaces are very, very expensive to do. But I wanted to do this necklace. Okay. But she never told me that she was doing it. And she just bring it to me. And we will see what's going on. Well, and she had to stay quite a certain time in hospital. And at the beginning, she was not working. And after 1 week, she said, no, it's impossible. She couldn't. Working was like breathing. If an artist stopped to do something with her hand, it's not breathing. He's not breathing anymore. And so we organized the room to be an atelier for some hours in the day. And she said, well, I can't draw. I can't do drawings because it's too difficult. I don't have any much puissance dans les mains, how to say?
Strength on the hands.
In the hands. So I can't do sculptures. So I want to do juries, and said, well, let's work on this one. And so we had, it took every day 1 hour it took 3 months like that to work on this necklace, to find out how she think about it, how we could do it. And it was really, because I was not so much involved when she was creating. I was taking care of the jewelry when it was created, and I was doing that can be
worn. Yeah.
Well,
you were not in charge. You were not into the creativity. She was doing it,
all.
and you.
Not at
she
all.
might have asked you some suggestions, no, or no?
No, not really. No, not suggestions.
You were scared about, oh my God, how can we do that?
Yes, it was that my problem. I was screaming at her all the time because I said, well, you do it too big, you do it too thin. I have to close the fingers. Do it that I can close the finger. Do it that it go on the right size. Well, things like that. But this was. I said I don't want it to be because she did a big plastron. I would say a plastron, a big necklace like this, that is in Italy. In
big
necklace that is in Italy in the Museum of the Jewelry of Museo de Joliere. She gave it to it because it's a big plastron. I said, don't do me another thing like that because it's quite difficult to sell it. We need it for women to be okay. So we worked on it, and at the end of it, I got.
You thought, drink some water.
Yes.
You want a strawberry too?
We didn't put a Greek name.
Yeah. It's the only one that doesn't have a Greek reference. It's Links of Love.
Exactly.
So it's the links of
both of us.
Of you two.
Yes.
I also started to cry now too, and but also the love of art. You can also interpreted in this
Yes,
way,
yes.
you know,
I don't
like the
know.
continuation, because the links is everything is connected.
Everything is
So
connected.
sculpture,
Yes,
paintings, jewelry, her life, and it's all one thing.
exactly. What she want, so what she wanted.
Yeah.
Because in the sculptures, it's, as you say, it's lines that coming one in the other. In paintings also,
Yeah.
even if there are some angles, on dit des angles, it's always, and the way she was with persons was like that also.
Yeah.
It was very warming.
Warm.
Yes.
Yes, I'm very honored to have presented this.
So she didn't saw it ended, unfortunately.
But she
but
saw the models, no?
Yes, she saw the models. She saw
The modeling wood.
the models and
the coral.
and
She
it's
told you which
and
coral
it's the
she
first time that she did so many drawings because she couldn't do another one in plastilin because she didn't have the strength of it. So she do drawings really to make me understand how she wanted to be. And I worked with the atelier on it for 6 months because we had to do, I wanted really to do exactly the interpretation of what she wanted. But before, I was showing her, and we were changing the things and going back and forth. That I was screaming because it was costing her tremendous, because going back and forth we have to do it. But because we are all together and we work really with the atelier, with the 2 girls that I'm working with for 15 years, we succeed to do exactly what she wanted.
And also the coral.
The coral, yes.
She wanted that specific color.
She wanted red coral.
Yeah, the red color.
Yes.
Pure.
Yes.
So also that one for you took a bit of time to find it.
It was, yes, the coral. She did some coral she did a line of jewelries for Arcurial.
There are 2 there, in fact.
Yes.
2 pieces in coral.
With this in coral. At that time, it was a long time ago. It's more than 20 years, I think. It was easy to find red coral because it was not like now that you preserve the coral and all that. And at that time, pink coral was much more expensive than red coral. Now it's the opposite, and it's very difficult to find coral that you can move with it in different countries, because you need a CITES, which is a paper.
Yeah,
CITES. But it's some places, even with the CITES, is difficult. So we had to find a coral that we can travel with it. If you have your necklace, you don't have any problems. We have, of course, official papers for this ball of coral. And we try to find it the more red possible. So it was...
And then lastly, just wanted to point out this thing, because it took 3 months, you know,
to do it with the atelier? For her, 3 months, and then to do it after 6 months.
6 months. So it's because she wanted to have something that is flexible on the body, not rigid.
Yes.
And in fact, if you see afterwards on the reverse of the necklace, there are all the silk threads, elastic, in order for the elements to be mobile and
to be on the chest of everybody.
Yeah,
because we don't have the same chest, everybody.
Yeah.
And I explained to someone that at the beginning she wanted
to add
a round piece in the middle, and she wanted that we could take it off.
Make it as a brooch.
A brooch, because she always was studying all the jewelries of the grandes maisons. How you say
the big maisons?
Yes, and it was transforming, you know, the jewelries, and she liked it very much that the jewelries can be transformed, as you saw for the belt, that the belt can be also a necklace, or she did
some brooches are pendants too.
Exactly, brooch can be pendants. That she liked it very much. So she wanted that for that necklace. But in fact, we could do it. But if we could do it, it was really nearly square. and not like that. So and at the end we didn't do it, but we integrate it, but we can't take it off.
So I think we covered everything. Thank you, Ileana.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to say?
Sorry?
Is there anything else you want to say?
No, if you want to have other questions, specific questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Any questions? Yes.
I would thank you very much for your explanation. I'm a bit curious to hear more about your childhood. You have siblings, how did you, and when did you grow up?
Oh, I grew up in Paris, mostly all the time. My mother was living in Paris, so.
And she was a working woman, so to speak, although in the kitchen.
No, at that time she had an atelier. When she was married with my father, she had an atelier. She had two ateliers, in fact. Well, one when she was with my father, she had really a big atelier
in Paris.
In Paris, because he really respected the thing that she wanted to be an artist. It was very important. And then she got divorced, and she had another important atelier when she was giving some lessons because she needed money to live, some painting lessons. And it was in fact an atelier of a sculptor.
Where?
In Montparnasse.
Okay.
The first one was in Rue de Monceau, and the second was in Montparnasse. And so it was the first time that she really had an atelier where she could do sculpture, because it was an atelier of a sculpture. And my childhood was seeing my mother going out of the house, let's say end of the morning, and coming back. We don't know. Depends when she was finishing to work in her atelier or not.
And were you allowed to go in the atelier?
I was not going in atelier because it was far away.
Okay.
And I must say, I never get in the atelier of my mother without asking her if I could get in.
Mm-hmm.
It was the same with Fernando. Fernando, you couldn't get in. It was
Fernando Botero was
yes.
The second husband of Sophia Vari.
Yes, they were going from the atelier, well, from his atelier to the kitchen, and the kitchen from the atelier. But and in other places she had her atelier, because it was not always a kitchen. I do it like that, but it was when they were living in New York, but it was very difficult to have someone. In Italy, she had two ateliers. She still have one big one.
Pietrasanta.
In Pietrasanta. Sorry?
One is in Pietrasanta in Italy, and the other one, where is it?
It was the two in Pietrasanta, one in the house, because she always wanted an atelier in the house or very, very near the house. She wanted outside of the house. And she had, in Monaco, she had an atelier also, a room for her atelier. In Mexico, they were living in Mexico a certain time, and they were in the hotel, and they had the whole room was an atelier for both. In Greece, she built a big atelier for her. Well, when they're moving in Colombia, she had an atelier there. She had a real atelier. In Paris, she had afterwards a big atelier too. But at the beginning, that's why she began also the jewelry, because it was in the kitchen. It was a small place, and at let's say the last 10 years of her life, she consecrated some days in the month to work only on jewels.
Okay, nice.
Mm.
And were her jewels meant to be one-of-a-kind pieces, or?
Sorry?
I forgot to ask this question, in fact. It was part of it.
Oh.
So it's a very important, thank you. I had in my notes and I didn't say it.
Mm.
So the question was, can you tell us about the unique pieces and the edition? There are some unique pieces, there are some edition of 3, there are some edition of 6, plus 2 artist proofs. And also, why did she always started with the first piece being
She didn't.
As an artist proof?
I did, she didn't.
Can you tell us about the uniqueness? What's the difference between having a unique piece or an edition of 3 or an edition of 6 plus 2 artist proof?
Well, at the beginning, she was doing two proof editions plus 8.
Okay.
And when I began to work with her, I said, you don't do that. You don't do it anymore for your sculptures. So let's do like for the sculpture, let's do 2 plus 6. Because at the beginning, she was doing 8 also for the sculptures, and after.
Because addition of 6 plus 2 is in sculpture is referred as unique piece.
Yeah, well,
Up to 12.
Up to 12.
Up to 12, exactly. In fact, she could do more, and 4 edition, édition d'artiste.
Artist proof.
Artist proof, sorry. She could do 4, but she wanted to do 2. So in sculptures, it's the same thing. And so we did like that. When it was edition of 3 plus 2 edition of proof artist proof, sorry. It was very complex. The juries were very complex. It was very difficult to do it many times.
So the more complex the piece was, the more limited number of the edition.
Yes.
Okay.
And also because when it's so complex, it's very expensive to do it. To make it, because it takes a long time, a lot of time. It doesn't seem to take a lot of time, but for example, to have something door like this, it's very long because you have to polish it. But when it's a ring in ebony and gold, you have first the person doing the ebony, and then all the gold that is on it has to be by hand. You don't have a mold. So it takes a long time. Doesn't seem to take a long time, but it takes a long time. It's not because you have maybe less gold, it can be less expensive, but in fact, no, because the money that you spent in gold, in fact, you spent it in time for this one. So see, and
so production, sometime when my clients, they order a piece, if it's still available from the edition, they have to wait 6 weeks.
Yes, it's long. And first, yes, and depends of the size also.
Yeah.
Because if you have for this one, for example, a ring like that, if you have small fingers, we have to redo it totally, because she do the proportion, because the form goes totally on the ring.
Piece.
It's not something round and you put something on it like a diamond or something like that. So we had to redo it. So each time it's a new mold. If we wanted to, it's like of unique, yet, because if you did bigger, it's 53 is in French is the size. So, but otherwise we have totally to redo it for each person. No? And it's unique piece. Mostly it's unique piece because she wanted to have it as a unique piece, or she did some pieces also in marble that we can redo, so they are unique piece. And all
we have one necklace there. It's a unique piece in marble.
Exactly, because she don't want to redo another one, and because it's like a painting. A painting you can't have made it the same paintings many times, so it's like one painting. And also all the jewelry that she did at the end of her life, that she did in leather, in cork, exactly.
They're all unique.
Unique, all by her hand, totally by her hand. She broke her hand.
When she was creating them by hand, did she sign them by hand?
No, they are signed afterwards. Like for sculptures, the sculptures are signed in the foundry.
Okay. Do you still have artworks or jewelry that they are not posthumous casted or created just during her lifetime?
You know, for me, it's not. I know that it's the one done after her death and the one before her death, but it's the same mold.
Well, she approved it, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's the same person. It's the same persons doing them. We didn't change a thing.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I understand your question. They're not posthumous because the
Not very
artists
posthumous.
have made the pieces. They've been approved by the artist, and
Continuing the.
they're finishing just the edition. And
no.
once the edition is sold,
Yes, it's finished.
It's finished. So
Different from sculptures, because with sculptures, the patina, which is made at the foundry, can evolve with time.
yeah,
So when it's work from artist life is different from after. But with jewelry, it's a completely different.
Laurence is taking care of all the paintings and sculptures of my mother for
She
different
went,
countries.
And actually, I wanted to. There is a show coming up of Sophia Vari, no? From your gallery or no? Not yet.
There will be a solo show in Paris at the end of the year,
Ah, yeah, no, yeah, fantastic.
from November.
Paris, next trip.
We have a gallery, Rue de Seine.
That's fantastic.
And you did a solo show after her dad, as you did a solo show after her dad.
2023. And actually, it was the same time, 2023, there were 12 monumental sculptures installed on Park Avenue. As a solo shows, she did 104 exhibitions.
And in London also, and in the park now.
Yes.
Regent's Park.
Yes.
Yeah. And also Berkeley Square, remember, no?
Yes, it was one.
And also the other square near Christie's.
Yes.
What's it called, that square?
Yes.
St. James. They were the two. Yeah, so she's, 105 solo shows.
No, more.
More than 105.
No, because from the time we changed
Institutional.
120 something, 120 solo shows,
So not bad.
something like that. Yes,
She's always in the move.
and we are continuing.
Of course.
Right.
No, it's important. We need to, like in sculptures and painting, but also in jewelry. And
No, but in fact, sorry,
Yeah.
but really, the juries became it. She had 3 categories of work. That was paintings, sculptures, and jewelries. Really, for the last, let's say, 15 years, it was that. It was not something apart. And she had a lot of fun to do it, to do them.
And a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. No, really, a lot of fun.
do you have any questions? No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ileana.